All right, why don't we get the
Oh,
meeting
geez,
started
really?
here? Do we have any comments? Anybody email anything or wishing to speak for the first 2 minutes there? So I
Not on
will
my end.
go ahead and hand it over to Josh to review
All
the
right.
next steps.
So our first order will be to vote on the March 13th minutes. Can we please get a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
All right, and by show of hands. All right, and hold that for a second. I'm going to document this. All right. Thank you very much. Our second item is the building tour impressions. So I'm going to open it up.
If I could just say, because I know some people have to get off to a finance meeting, if I remember correctly, Mayor Garcia, so should we skip that and try to get to some of the other issues and maybe come back to that item
Fine
Good
by me.
idea.
in case we can't get to it?
In that case, Chris, I'm going to hand it over to you now for updates.
Okay, I will share my screen.
Josh, I'll be right
Okay.
back. I have to get out to try to get someone the ID number, okay? I'll be
Okay.
back. But you guys can keep going. I'm not in quorum.
Let me just share that. Let me know when you can see that. Should be coming up now. I'm hoping. Can you see my
Nothing yet.
nothing yet? All right, well, I'll start talking while I'm trying to get this through. So construction is continuing to progress along, rapidly. Our substantial completion date is coming up July 1st. We are continuing with the minimal and last of the RFIs and submittals over the next couple of months to get this thing finished up. So that's going well. Our cost control measures are continuing to take place. We want to make sure that, in fact, we're holding the contractors' feet to the fire when they're submitting, PCOs for extra costs or changes in work. We continue to look at construction compliance reviews and reports and get those prepared as we're required. We are happy to say that, quality of work is still good. We don't see any issues, but I do have one topic I would like to share. So we're issuing those reports. Construction activities are pretty much full blown. Everything from site work on to onto the finishes, painting, tile, flooring, ceilings, and everything in between. So that continues to take place. Hopefully that'll get you this year. FF&E activities. So we have we have our furniture procurement that's taken place. The PCOs have gone out. I believe those are coming back with all the pricing, and those are being reviewed by our FF&E consultant as well as Jamie in the city. I believe that's all going fairly well with no big hiccups. We're looking to start furniture deliveries sometime after the 1st of July. Technology, the same thing. Our technology procurement is underway. PCOs and quotes have been sent out to the various vendors, and we're starting to get that information back. The quotes are looking good. Our budget and the technology is actually doing really well. One of the activities I do want to share, right now, all of our exterior windows have been installed. And as part of that installation, we're required to do an air and water infiltration test on them. We have had some various passing and non-passing reports. So we have gathered the contractor, their subs, the design team, and the window manufacturer to the site on a number of occasions to inspect and look at some of the items that are causing, some potential inconsistencies in our testing. They believe they've identified a small item based on the install that needed to be done in the prep for the window install. So they've done a couple of windows with some remedial action. We've retested those two windows. Those two windows passed. So we're continuing that on down the road over the next few weeks to make sure we get more consistent passing results. We will make sure that all windows have been appropriately been reviewed and make sure that there are no issues when we turn them over to the city. So that's an ongoing process that'll continue to play out, but we will make sure the contract does their due diligence, etc. These windows do have a 20-year warranty in the glazing, 10 years in the framing. The caulking is a 20-year caulk. So we're going to make sure that everything is done appropriately. When I go through some of so everybody can see my screen, I'm hoping?
Yes.
All right, so I did take some progress photos to show you the extent of the work for those of you who were not able to make our tour last week. So to the left here, I have a single user toilet room. You can see the fixtures are in and covered so nobody uses them. The wall tiles up, nice color scheme. The floor has been protected, but I can tell you that the floor tile is a very large format. It's like a 12 by 18 charcoal with a nice texture to it for slip resistance. The ceilings are starting to go in. So everything's really looking good. In this room, hanging the door and installing the accessories like the paper towel, toilet paper, etc. That's kind of left to do. To the right is kind of a classroom node where we have classroom entry points. So a couple things you can see, there's a little indentation, a little nook. There's color above, but there is tile on the walls. That tile will help protect the walls from, the standard, I'll call it abuse, but kids bumping into it with backpacks and things of that nature. So what it does is provides a very maintenance-friendly wall system, and it also provides a very nice finish that's durable, looks good, adds to the the lure of the whole project. Moving along, here's a classroom. This happens to be a science room, and you can see where they've installed flooring. We've got casework going in. Ceilings are starting to be installed. The paint has been put in. That continues on. They're getting ready to install countertops and sinks in these classrooms. They'll install the base around the walls, the grills, etc. And then our consultants are currently doing above ceiling inspections to make sure all that work is in fact correct and in place before they finish populating the ceilings with ceiling tile. And you can see another view, a little bit brighter, the casework, etc. So this is about 1,000 square feet. It's a large classroom. There is no lights on in here. They haven't been installed yet. This day was kind of a overcast day, but you can see there's fairly good light in there. Once we get the ceilings and everything in, it'll reflect more natural light into the room. So good spaces overall. Progress is moving along. Once they've applied the floor wax and finishes, they'll protect the floors. They'll put the doors on, lock them up so contractors can't get back in there as they move forward. This is the gym. You can see that they're starting to paint the ductwork. So the ductwork will have some color. The ceiling will have some color like white, the trusses, etc. Bright space. Again, very minimal lights, but the work is ongoing. The walls have been painted. They're starting to install the acoustical wall panels in the gym and cafeteria. So that's ongoing. And then the last piece will be once these trades get out is the wood flooring, the partitions, etc., as well as the motorized shades for the windows. This would be a view into the cafetorium. You can see the sheetrock around the stage has taken place, as well as the soffits above. Ceilings will be installed here where there is not sheetrock. The flooring will be a nice linoleum with a pattern. There'll be a curtain and wood paneling around the stage opening. So that work is continuing to progress. The ductwork's been hung, piping, etc. So everything is continuing to move along rapidly. I'm there at least once a week, and I notice a lot of progress from visit to visit. The walk-in cooler and freezer has been installed in the kitchen. The kitchen is starting to take place. The hood over the cooking, the cooking equipment has been installed. They're going to be putting in the Pori tile flooring in the next week or two, and then they'll start to bring in the remainder of the kitchen equipment. This is a view with the overhead door that goes from the media center into the art room. And we have another door like this on the opposite side into the technology lab, as you can see here at the far end. And basically what this does is provides the media center, the technology lab, and the art room as one big learning hub, right? It's open to a lot of different things that the school district can use as their programs evolve, meeting space, collaborative learning and meetings. Overall, it's just one big innovation hub. So it's really progressing along really nice. Right now, you can see there's a lot of materials stored, ceiling tiles, etc. Um, those will get dispersed around the room and the building as needed. And then one of the last photos I have, the site contractor has remobilized. So they're starting to do their exterior site work, pouring concrete pads. In the courtyard here on the far end, you can see where they're starting to install curbing in preparation for planters and then, concrete walk areas, etc., where the students, patio space. So this is continuing to evolve. They'll do this area, then they'll move out into the outer perimeter of the building. They're looking to do their first binder course of paving within the next few weeks by the end of April. They're also going to start working in the dingle area that comes up from the high school. So as you drive by, you might see equipment down there. You'll see site work starting to take place around the outside. There weren't a lot of outer activities going during this time because it was pretty muddy and they've just started to remobilize. So, but things are progressing well. Haven't seen a lot of issues. Everything we've pointed out to the contractor gets immediately resolved and it's ongoing. Any questions on that? Okay, Mark?
Yeah, if we can just kind of go back to the windows for a second.
Sure.
So all the windows are in and it was two of them out of all of them did not pass.
No, we're required to test, so all of the windows are in except for two or three that the contractor's using for leave outs to load the building with material, first and second floor. So we are required to test a small percentage of windows based on the overall. So every 25 windows, we test two. And typically, if we've got passing results, we've got consistency, then we can test another two for the next 25 and so on. So overall, we would test about 10. We've tested probably around 10 so far, and we've had some minimal failures on probably half of them. It's not an overly concerning issue. This happens from jobs to jobs. That's why, Mark, we've had the contractor, the installer, the sealer, caulking. We've had the Pella's manufacturing reps out. The president of Western Mass Pella came out as well. We had a representative from the factory as well to troubleshoot it, look at it. So that, like I said, they think they've identified the issue. They've corrected it on two of them. And those windows passed after we retested them. So we are going to direct them we're going to test a few more next week. And we're going to hopefully continue to see that positive result. If we do, they're going to take care of that remediation to all of them. And we'll continue to test randomly to make sure that we are getting the appropriate results we want.
Okay, so it'll be just random tests going forward, not every window will be tested.
Well, it's always been random. We want to make sure that they do the consistent work and then we pick a couple to make
Yeah.
sure if we tell them, hey, test this one, they're going to just really load it up and may not be consistent. So we make sure it's random. And what we're going to do is as we continue to get passing results, we're going to continue to test more until the design team, the installer, and the owner, Sean's been at a lot of these meetings and things of that nature, everybody is satisfied that the results are what they are. The testing of these windows exaggerates any little imperfections. And this is what we're looking for,
Yeah.
to make sure that under normal conditions, they don't leak.
And that was water, not air.
Yes,
The issue
they all
was?
pass the air, but what happens is we create this negative pressure. We create this little, I'll call it a plastic box out, and then we apply a negative pressure in there, and then we kind of deluge the window with water. Okay, there's a bunch of nozzles that spray it. And what we're doing is creating a negative pressure so that if there are any little imperfections, a pinhole, it'll draw the water in, we'll notice it. We haven't had streams of water, we get a little bubbling in the corner of a sill or something, and then it gets explored, etc. So those are the tests. All the air tests have passed. It's just these little water tests. A lot of windows have passed as well, but we want to make sure they all pass.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chris. That takes us through those 2 items. Next up, we have an update on the logo. Aaron, I'll hand it over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm sure you saw it. It was super positive to go through the process and have the student artist be chosen for the PEC logo. Let me quickly pull it up so everybody can see it and do a screen share. So that's the new logo. The student design, this is the student Malachi, who will be, he's a 6th grader at Metcalf right now. He'll be at PEC next year. And that was his original design. That was the most highly voted. And then you can see how the graphic designer like professionally rendered it. So things that were the most important thing to Malachi, I actually thought it would be the P. It wasn't the P, it was that idea of fire. So I think that this worked out really well. We'll be recognizing, he's gotten quite a bit of press coverage. This was even the front page of the Republican. And then we'll be recognizing him and inviting the other 5 finalists to the ribbon cutting, getting them t-shirts, getting them a certificate. We'll get a frame photo for Malachi that shows the before and after. Any questions or comments about it?
Nice job.
Looks very
Yeah,
nice.
we've received really powerful or really positive feedback. It's great.
Very forward thinking.
Yeah, well, I'll pass that along. Really fun.
All right. Let's go back up to the building tour impressions now. So I'll open it up to anybody who would like to share their impressions.
Yeah, I guess I can go. Had the pleasure of taking the tour the other day, and it's was so nice to see everybody's hard work here starting to come to fruition. I drive up and down Beach Street many times a day, and I look over and I see what's going on the outside to be able to get in and see the progress so far. It was really great. Some of the folks that were there from the school department had a lot of great questions along the way about the building. And, my impression from listening to them from afar were they're pretty excited, especially the new principal, and I forget his name at the moment.
Kevin McGrath.
And the VP from down there as well. She had a lot of questions, a lot of good insight. So I'm sure they're excited to get up there and get rolling. And one of my favorite parts, the courtyard, is a little muddy right now. So I'm looking forward to that being completed and seeing how that comes along.
Jackie, would you like to share any thoughts and impressions too?
Yeah, I want to be a principal, and I want to be a principal of that school. I want to quit my job. I just think the innovation of the building, the spaces, the way the space is used, the accessibility is like no other school we have, clearly, because they're old. And I'm just really excited for our kids to have a learning environment that they deserve. And, it was legitimately hard not to tear up walking around that building going like, if I just want to do this for all of them, but it's fantastic. And, even walking the spaces, like people are smart, and the educators in that building are smart. And I did hear Kevin and Aaron saying like, oh, that beautiful media space on the second floor, you know, could be a hangout area. So what's the system going to be to utilize that space appropriately and not have it be utilized in a way that it was not meant for, but like things that they're already thinking about to maximize opportunity for kids. So I was impressed by that.
It was really fun. I was able to meet some school committee or school building committee members in person for the first time. Like Anya was there. I didn't realize like how tall she is. Like I hadn't met her in person before. That's always fun. Camilla was also able to go there, Kathy, and then Sean and
Mm.
Anthony were there,
Yeah.
of course, too. And we have a link for some of the photos that we took. It was hard for us to take group shots, but we had 22 people in total. So cabinet members, school leaders. And of course, since that time, you know, our assistant superintendent, Stephen Mahoney, if anyone knows him, is asking me for like the 15th time, Aaron, he wants me to bring every single staff member over there, like next week. And I said, no, it's still very much a construction site. It was hard enough to bring a group of 20 people when the construction team wasn't there, like an after hours tour. So we'll be planning that for Sean and me. We'll do small groups in early June. So the staff members can see the space once it's a little bit further along. And then another fun note is that one of the middle school Acceleration Academy groups is actually their project for during Acceleration Academies is something like learning how to design a new middle school building. And so we're hoping to get a guest speaker from our consultant team to come in. I'm a little behind on emails. I just found out about it last week. But even like Sean's been did a tour and is doing a video tour with Anthony. I have a 10-minute Zoom meeting, which walks staff members like through the spaces. So even that stuff is building momentum and people are pretty excited about it. And I believe, Sean, there's a tour for Dean students coming up pretty soon too in the vocational program.
Yep, next Tuesday.
Yeah, so it was fabulous. Everyone's doing such tremendous work. And we invited school building committee, school committee, and city council, and we definitely had we had at least one person from each there, I think.
Erin, can I share a sidebar?
I think so.
Because you mentioned Dean, I'm like so ecstatic. 2 of our students from Dean in the culinary program that had gone to STEM and Morgan got accepted to Johnson and Wales and got a full boat.
Wow.
So they're both
Wow.
attending in September, and you know, Noah's so proud of them from the culinary department, but they're doing great. And I just heard that this week and I wanted to share that.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah, and like Jackie was talking about the education portion, for me, from a facilities and maintenance standpoint, I couldn't ask for a better building. This is like a dream come true. And like Jackie said, we have a lot of aging infrastructure, and to have this building being built within the district and have this learning environment for the kids is like a dream come true for me. And the modern building technology, the modern equipment that goes in there, and everything is brand new and fresh. And I'm excited to be a part of it and see it moving forward for the kids to enjoy.
Thanks.
Any other thoughts? All right. If not, a reminder that the ribbon cutting, we do have a date for that. That is going to be August 14th at 2 p.m. with the rain date the following day, Friday the 15th at 10 a.m. So we're tracking that. Our upcoming meetings, our next one will be Thursday, May 8th, followed by our June meeting on the 12th, July on the 10th, and August the 14th. That does take us to the end of our agenda here. So if anybody else has any other thoughts they'd like to share.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Have a great
Good night,
evening.
everybody.